One of the easiest ways that you can reach your 2026 goals is something that you might not think. Now, I've taught so much about goal setting. There are other videos that you can watch about the tactics, the strategies, the differences in goals that you can achieve. But what I want to do in this video is really walk you through a self-audit to help you understand, actually, maybe why is it that you haven't been able to hit those goals, and some minor shifts that you can make to start hitting those goals. Because at the end of the day, a goal is something that you've projected out there that you are going to work towards to achieve. Now, what happens is that sometimes we set goals that might not be actually goals that we really want to achieve, or sometimes those goals are so big that we're almost like self-sabotaging from a subconscious level to actually reach those goals. So what I first want us to do is, when we think about 2026, we can go through different categories in your life. When I like to think about it, it's holistic wealth. What's in the wallet? So everything related to money, finance, net worth, making it, all that, right? So your financial goals, but it's also experiences, the things that you want to do in your life that make life worth living, that fun stuff, if it's traveling, if it's doing a new hobby, if it's just something that you want to enjoy, right? Experiences are everything. It's holistic. And then we've got our attitude, which is our mindset, our ability to think things through, to learn new things, to have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. And then we've got love. Love is a huge component to everything. It's how we feed our relationships. It's how we think about loving ourselves. It's part of attitude, but it's so much bigger. And then we've got time. Time is essential. It is everything that is much more valuable than money, right? When we know that we have a round trip ticket to this world and we look at each day very, very differently, are we actually using our time the way that we want to, instead of spending it in tasks and things that aren't making us happy, that aren't making us fulfilled? So time is another aspect that I like to look at. And then health. Wealth is nothing without health. It is the most important thing. And health is not just your physical body, moving your body, eating well, but it's also your mental capacity, your mental health, stress, anxiety, all that kind of stuff falls into that mental category of health. So making sure that when we look at our goals, we think about them holistically. Now, there are so many ways to slice and dice this. What I've noticed, if you've ever heard about the Wheel of Life, is that you want to make sure that you have a quote unquote balanced life, right? What we've learned is that there's not such a thing as balance, hence the quote. But what it is, it's prioritization. So when you look at the different categories of your life and you think about your community, your friends, your family, your relationship to yourself, your career, your money, your health, all of those things are very important. And if you looked at them on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 meaning, you're not super happy about what's happening, and then 10 saying, wow, I'm knocking this out of the ballpark. This is exactly where I want to be. This is exactly how I have envisioned it. There are different tactical videos that you can watch to understand each of these, but I'm giving you this background because what's really important here is to first think about, here we are in 2026, but we probably, if you're watching this video, you probably have thought about setting goals, you've tried to set goals, or you're on a completely new leaf and you're like, yes, let's set some goals. But I want you to think about 2025 for a moment, and I want you to think about, if you had set goals, do you remember those goals? What were those goals? And did you achieve those goals? What I've recognized is that the older that we get and the faster time is moving and we're more connected with our phones and less connected with ourselves and other people, goals, time, all of that can just get muddled so quickly. So first, I want you to be really radically honest with yourself about what actually worked for you in 2025 and what were those goals that you set that actually you were able to achieve. And if you weren't able to achieve those goals, amazing. But if you didn't, all good too. Because what we want to understand right now is why were we able to achieve the goals or why were we not able to? Understanding this why factor is really important because it's the mechanism for you to actually achieve the goal. Right? It doesn't matter what that goal is, it's the mechanism. So something happened that allowed you to achieve the goal or didn't allow you to achieve the goal. Now, most goals actually fail. When you look at New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals, most goals actually fail within 90 days. I'm going to tell you why. They fail within 90 days because when we think about a habit shift, a goal, creating and achieving a goal, right? Most people are doing it at the very bottom of a pyramid. And that bottom of the pyramid is related to the habit pyramid. And that bottom of the pyramid is just looking at the tactics. So best example, new year, I want to lose 5 pounds. Amazing, that's great. But you know what happens is that there's no concrete anchor, there's no concrete why, there's no concrete holding it in that you really, really want that goal. And because of that, what will happen is that first week, you might be killing it. You might be hitting the gym. You might be doing all of those things. But then stress hits, work calls, maybe you get in a fight, whatever. There's life that happens. And all of a sudden, you are stuck out of your routine that you had just created, a mini routine that you really hadn't developed the neural pathways to actually achieving any of that success because you hadn't yet developed the habit. So what you want to do instead, and what most people just don't do, so you're going to be on top of this, is you want to think about the identity shift that can be made. So if you think about this pyramid of actually habit changing, the top is the identity. The identity of somebody that wants to lose 5 pounds. Well, first, it's not that. It's the identity of a very healthy person, an identity of somebody that knows that going to the gym is going to help their body tenfold. That when they are, lifting weights and when they are at the gym, that they're working not only on their body and their muscles, but their mindset. They're not thinking about this hustle, I gotta get it done. They're thinking about this is an ingrained part of me. That is a very big difference because you're going to approach situations very differently. So what you want to think about right now, when you think about your 2025 and now your 2026, was an identity shift made? When you can make an identity shift, the goal itself becomes easier. Number 2 is that most people are really confused about the difference between process goals and outcome goals. Process goals are really easy. It's about doing a process. So that example that I gave you of, working out 5 times a week, that's a process goal. You measure it because you did it. You either worked out 5 times or you didn't work out 5 times. That's it. Versus an outcome goal is losing 5 kilos by a certain date. And then designing a plan to actually achieve that. So that's an outcome goal versus a process goal. So oftentimes people are setting process goals without an actual outcome to measure, without being able to measure something. Then how do you know that you actually achieve it? So for example, I live in Portugal. I've been trying to learn Portuguese, never actually on my goal list because I've integrated it a little bit, but that's a whole nother video. To be fluent in Portuguese is not necessarily it. So studying Portuguese 5 times a week would help me if I had designed it well to achieve one of those specific outcomes. So it's important as you start navigating your goals to understand the difference between a process outcome and a process goal and an outcome-driven goal. This is very different. Number 3 reason why people are failing and not actually achieving their goals is because they are setting too many goals. If you look at the Wheel of Life, which is an amazing tool to actually help you balance and live a truly fulfilled life, guess what? There's at least 8 pieces of that wheel. So if you go driven, you break out your notebook, you say, okay, for love, I want this. For community, I want this. For family, I want this. For my wallet, I want this. Wow, all of a sudden, we have got 8 different goals that are in different areas of our lives. You're super busy, you're already working, maybe you're stressed out. How is it that you are going to be able to even focus on those goals? That's why people are failing. So instead, what I suggest is to do that work, to look at the wheel of life, to understand yourself more deeply, to understand what is it that you really want, not what society has told you to want, not what you said you wanted last year but you haven't been able to achieve. Dive deep, look at your values, look at the things that are really driving who you are today and who you want to be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and just calm the storm. Look at it just holistically. Look at that and set some time to be with yourself, to really understand that. If it is an income goal, okay, amazing. But then challenge yourself. When I achieve that income, how will my life really, really change? And use a tool that I call the 5 whys. Dive deeper into that. So you say, okay, I have an income goal. That's what I'm really going to work for 2026. Amazing. Go deeper. Why do I really want that income goal? Okay, 1 layer deep. Amazing. Driving. Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. Because what you're going to find and what most people miss is that income goal, that superficial goal that you might have, if you explore it a little bit deeper, at least 5 layers of depth, you're going to realize that that goal is actually not related to that external thing that you're looking for. So when you can do this, this is going to dramatically shift your goal setting. And so the last thing that I want to tell you is that when you can start doing this analysis, and I'll do another video to walk you through how I did my analysis, is that you can actually make your goal setting so much easier. It's great. I agree. We set goals. We set measurable goals, and we have plans to achieve those goals. But when you are the business owner, when you are like setting those goals, the most important thing you have to realize is you can have the best plan, but subconsciously, if you're not ready to receive that goal, if you're not ready to hit that level, your goal, you're going to self-sabotage. And this is scientifically proven with the upper limit theory and several other subconscious mindset blocks, right? So it's very important to, yes, have the methodology. Yes, if you're leading a team, have the plan. Yes, I'm not saying don't do that. But it's to get deeper within yourself, to learn that self-leadership, to really ask yourself, really, what is the importance of this goal? You understand that? Everything is going to change. So after you do this, it's kind of like the Matrix when they're all moving these things. But imagine you have this whiteboard and you can just move all these things, these puzzle pieces of your goal setting, your life all together. You want to learn how to be able to detect patterns that are going to help you understand actually what is that one true thing that you're looking for. Now I'm going to tell you what my 2026 goals are. Of course, I have business goals. I have income goals. I have those. I already have plans that I'm working on to achieve those goals. And so I have already developed the habit and the mindset. They are more or less working, right? So when I think about certain things that are really important to me, certain things when I think about my top 3 values. So values are really important here. It's growth, personal growth, personal growth and development. It's everything, constant learning. It's love and it's connection. And so when I can actually look at those, and I think those are my 3 big values, and then I look about the things in the wheel of life that aren't necessarily a 10 that I want them to be, which are making truly deep friendships, improving and having even a stronger love and connection with my family, and also connection with myself. I was then able to deduce one really important thing, and that was the word that I'm going to live by in 2026. Because when you can live by a word, just one, everything becomes easier. You can remember, am I aligned? Is this actually helping me get there? That one word is connection. I challenge you to rethink how you set goals. If you want to know the tactical, you can watch some videos about that. But really, I want you to sit with yourself and think about this for a moment. What is that one word that could help you in so many different areas of your life get closer and closer and closer to a 10 in each of those areas? That, to me, is how you can have a very simplistic view, a very exciting view of 2026. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, my name is Simone Saluca. If you like this, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I would love to know, actually, what is your word?